Hey there guys, today I'll be comparing my 5 favourite air purifiers on the market. I'll be comparing all the variables involved, from price to build quality to functionality, and hopefully by the end of this episode you'll understand what air purifier will work for you. First of all, I'm going to talk about sales. Now, a lot of these companies do sales very regularly. The most prominent ones being the ones for Air Doctor, which frequently have $200, $300 discounts. So if you're from the US, you're going to want to subscribe to the mailing list of the company, as they often do huge sales. You want to check on Amazon.com a lot because they often do discounts there. Another company is The Molecule. They frequently email out every 1 to 2 months a sale of around $100, $200 off their small units, and they can have sales on their large units that can equate to around $200, $300 saving. So if you have some patience, wait around for a promotional email, or better yet, wait till Black Friday. Usually most models will have some sort of discount. The Boomerang had a $250 discount, usually is $750. I got it on Black Friday for $500. As far as the IQ Air and Austin Air are concerned, there will always be some sort of Black Friday sale, but I recommend subscribing to their mailing list to be fully aware of the sales. Those sales are probably going to be more prevalent in the US companies than the EU companies. So the IQ Air EU-based website, Allergy Cosmos, they don't tend to do as many sales compared to the US website equivalent. But all in all, just subscribe to the email mailing list of all the companies, and you should be able to find a decent sale coming your way. One major factor to consider, of course, is price. And for those in the UK, we're just going to pay more for all these models compared to the US because we have to pay shipping and import taxes. So I'll give you a dollar amount and I'll give the equivalent that you'll expect to pay. Being based in the UK, you're just going to have to pay those additional taxes and import costs, so I've taken them into account. So for Austin Air, it comes in about $500, the Healthmate. But for the people in the UK, I ordered mine off eBay.com and got it sent over. That came around about £650, including all taxes and shipping costs. For the Molecule Air Mini, you're looking about $250, but the Air Pro will come in between $900 to $1,000. With all the taxes and shipping that I had to pay off Amazon, this $250 device came in about £420, unfortunately. And the Molecule Pro will come in at £1,100 once you take into account all the import charges. The IQ Air, the US again pays a lot less. They pay around $900, we pay £1,000. And then you have the Air Doctor, which again you can pick up for between $350 to $500 depending on sales. Here in the UK, we pay about £420 because we import it from the Dutch-based branch of the company. The Air Boomerang is at $750, and so that will equate, including taxes, to somewhere about $800 to $900 for people based in the UK. I'd say the Austin Air or the Air Doctor has the best value for money in terms of monthly cost, so that's something that you can consider when purchasing the air filter. In terms of annual cost, the Hypo Air or the Austin Air or the Air Doctor seems to be the most value for money. Another factor to consider is weight. Some people like to buy one filter and move it up and down stairs. Others like to buy numerous and put them around the house. I personally put 3 of them upstairs and 2 of them downstairs in my house. It can vary from person to person, obviously, depending on budgets. Also for transport as well, some people like to take their filters while traveling, and there are only very few filters that are able to be used for those sort of situations. The best that impressed me with the lightest weight was the one that impressed me the most in terms of being lightest was the Air Boomerang by Hypoallergenic Air. That was extremely light, and for something that covers a huge amount of square meters, really impressive with that technology. And it's something that you can pack in your briefcase and use while traveling from hotel to hotel room. Another light one was the Molecule. Of course, the main Molecule Air Pro isn't as transportable as the small one. All other three filters were pretty heavy. The Air Doctor being the lightest out of the three big ones, followed by the IQ Air and the Austin Air being the heaviest. Bear in mind though, the IQ Air and the Austin Air both come with wheels, which makes them easily transportable around one floor. But then again, if you're moving from floor to floor, you're going to have to pick them up, and for someone who's frail, old, it might be too much for some people. So if weight is a huge issue for you, if the weight of the device is a huge issue for you, I would go for the Boomerang or the Molecule. Next up we have build quality, and for me the Austin Air blows the other four out of the park. It's got a strong metallic build, really nice dense material, definitely the most durable out of all five of them. Then we have the IQ Air, which is also a nice strong build, not as strong as the Austin Air, but definitely better than the other three. And then we have the Air Doctor, which is alright, but still a cheaper, quite plasticky feel. And after that we have the Molecule, which I like the build quality to some degree, but still has a little bit of cheapness to it. Then we have, to end with, we have the Boomerang by Hypoallergenic Air, which seems very plasticky, pretty cheap feel to it. For $750 you sort of expect a little bit more. Then again, the cheap quality makes it light and easy to transport, so there's a sort of win-lose situation. Next up we have the style of the filters. Now, for a lot of people who live at home, who don't really care that much about what things look like in their house, that doesn't really matter. But if you're, say, you're working in an art gallery, for example, and you want to put one of these filters in a sort of sales situation where you want your room to be presented well, then style does matter to some degree. For that, I think the overall goes to the Molecule. It's a fantastic looking device. They've really, they spent a lot of money on designers for this product, and it shows. It's beautifully and elegantly designed. Then next up we have the Boomerang, which is nice, not too alienating to look at. And then after that we have the Air Doctor, which is, it's a nice style. And then the IQ Air and the Austin Air do look a little bit on the ugly side. So looking for sleep, you want to measure 3 different key indicators. 1, blue light emission, 2, EMF, and 3, of course, sound. And these 5 air purifiers vary in terms of those demographics we're trying to measure. First of all, in terms of blue light, now for me, I like sleeping in a pitch black dark room. So the ones best for that are the Austin Air and the Air Doctor. The Austin Air has no junk light coming out of it whatsoever, which is fantastic. Really the ideal device for the modern day biohacker. Then we have the Air Doctor, which does emit blue light, but comes with a night mode that blocks out all the blue light. And then we have the IQ Air, which emits a small amount of air, but of blue light, but can easily be blocked out. Unfortunately, both the Boomerang and the Molecule have LED lights that are part of the technology that helps the device function. So the Pico technology for the Molecule helps to kill mold spores. So it's going to emit a lot of blue light as a result of that. And you cannot block it, because if you block it, then you're going to block air going into the device. The same with the Boomerang, which is based on very similar technology. Then next up we have EMF. Now, I would always measure your device's EMF, because an EU-made device might have different manufacturing process to a US-made device, and so will emit different EMF. For that, you're looking for the most simplistic design. So for me, that's the Austin Air. Of course, if you're EMF sensitive, always try and move your air filter as far away as possible from you if you're sleeping in the same room as it. In terms of EMF, the Boomerang is also not bad. Unfortunately, you want the least amount of wireless technology, so I think that the Molecule is probably the worst in terms of EMF, because it is using a lot of wireless to connect with the app. The Air Doctor and IQ Air are sort of at average levels. Again, just try and sleep as far away as possible from the devices when you're sleeping next to them. And finally, sound. Now, personally, I found that the Air Doctor was the winner here. It was really, really quiet, even on the top speeds. And then after that, I would say probably the IQ Air and Molecule at the lowest speeds were very tolerable. Unfortunately, the louder it got, if you moved up the settings, it then became more and more annoying. The Boomerang was okay. It was, I think, for some deep sleepers it'll be fine. For me, I'm quite sensitive to sound, so it was still a bit too loud for me. And then the Austin Air was just incredibly loud, which is a massive shame because it seems like the ideal air purifier to sleep next to, given that it releases very little EMF from wireless technology and no blue light. But it's so damn loud that I would not want to sleep next to this. Even sleeping on a level above one of these ones, I can still hear it at night, which was a shame. But all in all, all five of them have different pros and cons in terms of sleeping. I would definitely not choose the Molecule or the Boomerang just because of that blue light. It's just very, very annoying. It's something I can't really tolerate to sleep next to. If you're a biohacker, you really want a pitch black room to sleep in. Or I think I'll probably go for the Air Doctor, given that it's very quiet and emits no blue light. The IQ Air at low setting is also great too. Next up we have filter specs. Now I've written a comprehensive review of each one, which explains it in more detail. You can access that on my YouTube channel and look at my blog. But overall, these three, the Austin Air, the IQ Air, and the Air Doctor have similar technologies. They all focus on gas filtration. They all have different air filters which focus on gas filtration and HEPA filtration and large particulate matter. So their filters focus on different particle sizes. Overall, I'd say in terms of gas filtration, the Austin Air wins because you have that zeolite, which is really good against formaldehydes. Both the IQ Air and the Austin Air have really strong HEPA filters that filter down to 0.003 microns. So impressively strong filters. Then we have the Molecule and the Air Boomerang by Hypoallergenic Air. They both use similar technology, which is around LED lighting to kill mold spores. So for them, it's not as important the CFM rating. So they just work to kill, whereas the other three, work to try and get in as much air as possible. So yeah. In terms of customer support, I found that all five were pretty good. I love the fact that Hypoallergenic Air took a lot of time to answer questions in a lot of detail. The most impressed I was IQ Air. They had really quick delivery, literally next day. The website stocks them, allergycosmos.co.uk. Fantastic job that they've done. Again, the Air Boomerang was also very, very quick in terms of its delivery, even from America. Really just took about 2 or 3 days, even from the US during Black Friday. Then we had Austin Air, bought from a third party, so I can't really comment on their customer support team. Molecule were pretty good with answering questions. Air Doctor, their EU-based customer support team was pretty slow in taking out their product. They were actually about a month late, and they had their product as in stock when it actually was out of stock. So yeah, it was a month delay. So I'm not that impressed by the Air Doctor's support team, but other than that, everything else was pretty good on the support front of all 5 products. Next up we have energy efficiency. Now that depends on the model you choose and of course the fan speed you set it to. If you set it at the highest fan speed for a long period of time, it's obviously going to take up more energy than if you set it at a low fan speed. So these are what I'm giving you are estimates. The Molecule was pretty inefficient at 20 to 80 watts depending on the speed you use. Then we have the IQ Air, which is between 60 to 70 watts, and the Hypo Air, which is 15 watts, so this was the most efficient out of them all. And then we have the Austin Air, which is roughly 90 watts, depending on the speed you use, of course. And then the Air Doctor, we couldn't retrieve that finding, unfortunately. The Boomerang was most impressive at 2,500 square feet. Then we have the Molecule, which was 600, and then the Austin Air at 550, and then the Air Doctor at 900. Then we had the IQ Air at 1,100 square feet. Then we have warranty. The IQ Air blew the other four out of the park here with 10 years. The Austin Air was equally impressive with 5 years. Hyper Air and Molecule each came with 2 years. Unfortunately, Air Doctor was pretty disappointing with only 1 year of warranty. Overall, I was impressed with all 5 air purifiers. If I was to pick one, it would be a choice between, it's very difficult to choose, but if I was to pick one for travel, I think it would be the Boomerang. If I was to pick just one to live next to, it would probably be the IQ Air or maybe the Molecule.